Joining me today, Magellan Gold. Magellan trades as MAGE on the OTCQB. Got with me now John Power, director, co-founder, 30 years experience in pubcos and private cos. Magellan currently has 4 projects: Santa Maria Mine in Chihuahua, Mexico, the SDA flotation plant in Nayarit, Mexico, El Dorado Underground near the SDA plant, and that Silver District property in Arizona. Okay, John, a lot of things going on for Magellan, but what's front and center for the company right now?
So front and center is our Santa Maria project, which is a near-term production opportunity in Mexico, a silver mine that we have under contract. So the difference with Magellan is we don't want to be an explorer. Our management, our president, David Drips, is a mining engineer. He's got extensive experience. We want to be a metal producer, and we think we can be a metal producer in 2020. And being a near-term producer puts us in a very unique category. There's, very few companies that can say that they are ready to go into production.
So that's a pretty big step. How are we going to get there?
Well, there's certainly some obstacles to get there. The good news is we have the project, we have it under contract. Just need to add the capital to make it happen. And so the capital basically looks like this. Our down payment, which is next March, is $1 million. And then we need about another $2 million to $3 million to actually crank up production. I mean, it is as shovel ready as you're ever going to get. And so it's just a question of adding the capital to it. It's a high grade silver mine, call it plus or minus 10 ounces to the ton. So it's much higher grade than a lot of the small silver mines you see that are in production in Mexico. And so we just think that once the market understands the opportunity here and the upside, that we'll get re-rated.
Yeah, let's talk about the management team here that's going to execute this plan. I know you brought in David Drips here. I don't know, 9 months ago. Maybe it's even been longer than that now that I think about it. But talk about that acquisition and what was the plan there with bringing David in.
So, that was really huge because, there's a lot of companies that are working on a lot of things, but you have to have the management that can execute the plan that you adopt. And the thing I liked from David the first minute I met him was his desire to be in production, to be a producing metal company. And what's great is he's got the pedigree and the experience to back that up. He's put numerous mines into production in Mexico. He's worked for companies like Pan American, Hecla, and Endeavor Mining and companies like that. So he's really got an amazing pedigree, and that's really what you need. I can't go put a mine in production in Mexico, but David can, and so he was kind of like a real integral piece to the puzzle. So we're really excited to have him on board.
You're in Mexico, and a pretty good spot. Mexico's obviously one of the top mining jurisdictions. Talk about how that works. Is there any risk there? How friendly is it? And how central are you to everything you're doing?
Yeah, so we're in the state of Chihuahua near the Parral mining district in a community called Santa Barbara. And basically it's a very established, important mining sector or region in Mexico. So we feel like the security and that is strong in our area. We don't see, we're not on the border. We're not in some of these areas where there's a lot of potential security risk. It is, Mexico is it's a little bit higher risk than if we were putting a mine into production in Nevada. But it's, the economics are really impressive. And, there's a PEA on the project that was done by the company we're acquiring it from. And so we're comfortable with the jurisdiction risk. You look at the companies that have started in Mexico that have become producers. I hate to even mention the big guys like Pan American and First Majestic, but even some of the smaller companies like Exelon and Gray Panther, Endeavor. There's been, if you're able to get into production and prove that you can do it, it just puts you in a completely different category. And part of, I don't want to digress too far, but it's a little bit of a broken model. And I think this is why a lot of the smaller companies are struggling, the juniors are struggling, is that they have to constantly go back to the market and raise money. And so our plan is we raise money, we put Santa Maria into production, and we don't have to go back to the market. And then, the world is our oyster.
Yeah, let's run through a little of the structure here. You talk about a one and done. So you've got your asset, you've got your management team. We'd like to all think it's as simple as add money and it's like water and a tree grows. But run through the corporate structure. I know you cleaned this thing up, so you're really poised to move this thing forward.
Yeah, it's Magellan is traded on OTCQB. The symbol is MAGE, as you know. We are not duly listed. We're different than, most companies you see also have a TSXV listing or TSX listing. And so we're solely listed in the United States on the OTCQB. We see that as, a little bit of a benefit, in that it'll make it easier once we get ramped up here to uplist to the New York or American or NASDAQ. But basically we have about 3.6 million shares out, so call it a market cap of, a little bit under, between 6 and 7 million, depending on the quote today. And so it's really a tiny market cap. And so the upside is tremendous if we can execute. But you're right. It's we need the water to grow the tree, which is the money. But you have to execute, and we think we've got the management team to execute.
Yeah, and as far as the assets themselves, it's not even mentioned here, is a pretty impressive property in Arizona, the Silver District. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, the Silver District is a really amazing project. It's district scale. It's in Arizona. It was extensively explored in the 70s, almost went into production. It was a company called Gulf and Western, which was a subsidiary of Gulf and Western, which was a big conglomerate back in the day. And, Paramount Pictures and Madison Square Garden, all that was part of Gulf and Western. And so this was their metals division, and this was one of their projects. So several years ago, we went out and wanted to try to tie up and acquire some of these, really unloved silver districts across the United States, and we were able to purchase the Silver District in Arizona. There's a historical resource of about 18 million ounces of silver. The target on it, is 50 million to 100 million ounces of silver. But it is an exploration play, and so we are, looking for industry partners to partner on it that maybe we could take it forward and we could participate in it. Would be capital intensive to do the drilling and develop out that resource that everybody thinks could be there.
We're in a high risk environment here, John. If you had a message to investors of why follow Magellan, what's that message?
We see Magellan's just a different animal. We're not another exploration junior. Our plan is to be a producer. We can be a producer in 2020. There's only a handful of companies that can say that, and we're one of them.
Okay, appreciate that update. John Power, Director, Co-Founder, Magellan Gold, MAGE on the OTCQB, and we'll look forward to drilling down with David here soon. So thanks for that update, John, and look forward to following your news flow.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Always good to talk to you.